Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's session of Urban Shadows, Juneau, Darkness Beckons. I'm your MC or Master of Ceremonies, Taryn Winnie, and we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves around the table, who we are, who we're playing, and go ahead and go through rumors. I also use he, him pronouns. So, who would like to go first?
I don't mind going first. Hi, everybody.
Right.
I'm Max. I can be found at allmaxd20 on the Twitters. I, like my character Red, use he, him pronouns. Red is a private detective using the Aware playbook. And yeah, I'm going to leave it on that one.
Do you want to go ahead and do your rumor stuff too?
Oh, we're doing rumors. I see. Rumors. So I was told as I do not trust Gallant to mark Power, and was it Wild? I was told to mark Wild. So Wild, my rumor is that cars known to belong to the Dumas family have been circling the block near Kay's place for the last couple of weeks. And I was lucky enough to roll a 10 plus 2, so I am ready for all this.
Yes, which means you either can gain a debt on someone in that faction or a useful piece of information or equipment.
I think a useful piece of information, as Red is fully aware that something's going to be going on with Kay. I'm not really sure if regarding that, but I think some information would be helpful.
In what way? Like, what kind of? I need maybe something a little bit more specific.
Let's see. I'd like to know: is it common knowledge where the Dumas family resides, or usually hangs out, where the base of operations is?
It doesn't have to be.
Okay, so yeah, I'd say I know where they like to spend their evenings.
Okay. Fantastic.
So I was thinking I could just tail Kay, but no, Kay's a teleporter.
All right. So awesome. That bodes well, I'm sure. Who's up next?
I'll go. Oh.
Go.
Okay. Hi, folks. I'm Matthew Foreman. I am at Matthew W. Foreman on Twitter. I use he, him pronouns. I also play Gallant, who is a mortal wizard who also uses he, him pronouns. I trusted Red the least. He had me mark Power. I said that someone is planning to crash the mayor's dinner tonight, and I rolled a 12 plus. Well, I rolled a 12. Which means, I'm prepared for it. So I'd like one of them there debts, because I don't got a lot of debts.
So who in the Power faction would you like a debt on?
Wouldn't it be...
like a list of choices?
Yeah, sure!
Though I'm pretty sure I know who you would like to take a debt on. So there is this wizard named Gallant. I don't know if you need a debt on yourself. There is Bev, who was the assistant to Drug Saruman. There's Crawford, the FBI wizard. There's the hallowed Todd Sherman, the whitest name on the planet. And of course, our new friend, Mayor Ethan Valentine.
I sure would like a debt on Mr. Valentine.
I kind of had an inkling, but I thought I'd give you your options.
Yep, works fine by me.
Amazing. Sweet.
Oh, and I also advanced and, I chose something, which, might come into play here pretty soon. So, yeah, great.
Would you like to stay with the class, or would you like to hold it for later?
I'm going to wait.
Okay. Great. Love. Who's up?
I could be up. Hello, I am Maria. I use she, they pronouns. You can find me at HappyCapster on Twitter. And tonight, I am playing Kay Belton, who uses they, them pronouns, who also uses the Tainted Playbook. Kay trusted Dimitri the least, and Dimitri had to mark Knight, because that was the only thing they had available. So they also advanced. As did the majority of their basic moves, which is great if they roll 12s ever. But the rumor that they have been privy to is that vampires have been making themselves more apparent and visible around the city, causing the other factions growing concern. And I rolled a 10 for that.
I did the muted thing where I talked when I was muted. But yeah, so would you like a debt? On
Taryn,
possibly, I don't know who in the Night faction you would want a debt on.
I would love a debt on Conrad, please.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I am just floored that you've all had this
Flabbergasted.
really lucky turn of events to gain debts on the people that you are currently interacting with. This is
Taryn rolled a 5 and is not prepared.
I am not prepared.
Flat-footed.
I was caught flat-footed, unprepared, or unaware. You're all coming for me. That's the situation going on there. So yeah. Awesome. You have a debt on Conrad now.
Thank you.
Of course you do. Ty.
I am Ty. I am Ballroom Brawler on Twitter. I use he, him pronouns, and so does my character, Dmitry Chopenko. He is Ukrainian hunter, and he trusted Red least. I was given night. Rumor that I hear is that the vampire-run opium den is things are changing there, and getting a little more active. And I rolled a 7.
So, you get to do some debt swapping.
For night, I would like to give and take one on Benji.
All right. Benji. Have you met Benji?
Yeah, we were in the car ride together.
Oh,
An awkward
right.
car ride after we
forgot
killed
about
the
the
ghost
awkward-
house.
Yep. After you murdered the ghost house.
Yes.
Along with a couple of other people. Benji, 1, 2, and from Dimitri. All right, so that is intros and opening moves. Does anybody else have any opening moves? No. That's a change from all of the other characters we used to have.
Not yet.
Anyway, Max, would you care to do the honors on our recap since you are so good at those?
I enjoyed them so much. So anyway, on last week's episode of Juneau, Darkness Beckons, meetings were the theme of the day as Conrad requested a meeting with Kay. Red made plans with someone who could answer his questions, and Gallant was invited to the mayor's office. A casual comment about not having breakfast as a group led to everyone finally meeting at the Narrows. Kay confided that they feared that they had gone too far into the darkness. Red expressed his desire to leave as the city was changing him. Giving Kay a ride home, Red told Kay not to worry about him because he didn't believe that the patron could harm him. The patron proved him wrong. Gallant and Dimitri talked about hobbies such as vodka as they went to City Hall together. The mayor vaguely explained that Gallant had a role to play in his vision of what he wanted Juneau to be. Meanwhile, Kay discovered from their father's journal that history was beginning to repeat itself. And now we resume in this episode of Juneau, Darkness Beckons, with episode 9. And happy solstice, everyone.
Yo, we are playing on the solstice. So
it has finally arrived.
That amazing.
Just not in game because we play like turtles.
It is
season
Thursday.
Season 4 will be the solstice.
Season 4. Yes.
Next solstice, we'll get to the solstice is what'll happen.
Yes.
But yes. So now usually I ask you guys who would like to go first. There is a scene that sort of needs to happen before any other scenes can begin. So we're gonna cut right back to the dinner at City Hall. So Matthew, you had just recently been introduced and enlightened by Mayor Valentine a little bit. Maybe not as much as you had hoped, but the first of maybe many conversations, or at least confrontations, has occurred. He then asked you to follow him and led you back to the dining hall, where you found yourself surrounded by many of Juneau's elite, prominent people, and people of power. I say that because you've been around in Juneau before. Some of these faces are familiar. Are you familiar with Mildred at all? From before you spent time in prison?
She was around then. Yeah, it would be.
She definitely has been a part of Juneau's ecosystem for a long time. You see a familiar face in one officer, Emma Diaz, who might have been there during your release, or at least your I don't want to say parole visits, but it seems that this evening has been a Dimitri is with you. So Dimitri,
Yes.
on the other hand, you notice some of these faces not from experience, but from dossiers. Specifically, a table of almost similarly dressed men in black suits, men and women in black suits. Two of the faces look extremely familiar, one being a clean-shaven head, handsome, tan-skinned man who you recognize with the name Conrad, and a skittish, sheepish-looking boy named Chadwick. So
I will go over to Gallant and whisper, "That boy, it is the one we were watching." Gesture at Chadwick.
You were watching a boy? Oh.
You are muted. It is unfortunate.
Sorry, my own silent spell got me. You were watching a boy?
Yes, Steve hired me and Raid to watch this Chadwick.
Oh, that's the
Lauren joined us.
That's the vampires kid that Red was hired to retrieve. I look at Dimitri. I mean, wait, is Chadwick a vampire? Okay. He's a vampire, ain't he?
I will look at him and try to use book learning.
okay, give me that roll.
8. Tell me a bit about it and how it can be killed.
We don't have a resident vampire anymore, so I can't ask them about how that works. So it's my turn for some stuff. It depends on the type of vampire it is. Blood vampires are a little bit more traditional in lore. They tend to a little like it's not exactly like a wooden stake to the heart or silver or anything like that. It just takes a little bit more force than usual. They're a little hardier. Emotion vampires, on the other hand, probably the most reliable way to kill them is overloading. So it's kind of like with a tick, you kind of have to squeeze them off and let them explode. So.
And what kind of vampire is Conrad?
Conrad, you're not sure. I think there are other types of vampires too. There's blood, there's emotion,
Flesh.
Flesh. Yeah.
Oh God, I hate the flesh vampire. I hate that trope. It's so terrible. Like,
Blood, flesh, and emotions are the 3 in the book.
Yeah.
okay,
yeah.
great.
As long as
Thanks.
he doesn't sparkle.
Flesh are the flesh are the ones that are a little bit more ostracized.
I would
There's
say
none at this dinner, so.
better not be.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just look at Dimitri like, vampire, ain't he?
Yes, he is. Wait, man, he'll make mental notes of what he is to write in his journal later.
I reckon that Red, he was sent here to retrieve Chadwick, but didn't say nothing about protecting him. So if something happens to Chadwick, Red's out of the picture. He can go back home to his husband, can't he?
He's married. I do not know this, Red. Very well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you not paying attention during that whole thing?
the 3-minute breakfast, not really. No.
Oh yeah, he's married to a guy named Peter. Not to be confused with the Peter we killed.
Right.
That would be confusing if we named multiple characters the same name.
Sure would be. So, I don't trust him. I think he's in over his head. So, we get rid of Chadwick. Red leaves. I think that's a net gain for Juneau.
I will text Steve and see if he wants dead Chadwick.
Yeah.
As you go to text, Mayor Valentine steps up to the pulpit, sort of at this like small stage, sort of at the back of this dining hall. He has a champagne glass and a knife, and kind of just clink, clink, clink. I would like to thank everyone for joining us this evening. This is a special occasion as a way to sort of right some wrongs that have been done by Juneau in its past, both through recognizing one of its more unfortunate victims, as well as sort of bringing together some people in Juneau that have the ability to do something about it. Now, I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with our guest of the evening tonight, Gallant, but Gallant, if you would please join me on stage.
Woo! Yes! Go, Gallant! He's my friend!
So you brought your support system. This is great. This is exactly what we're looking for in rehabilitating people that have been wronged by the prison system here in Juneau.
I'd like to get up on. I'd like to use stage, heavily lean on my staff, my walking stick, and do the whole thing where you get up on stage and you shake the guy's hand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shake Mayor Valentine's hand.
Okay.
And when I do that,
love it.
I would like to skim the surface.
Yes. He was unprepared for that, so.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
I miss this so much.
Okay. 9 is a partial success, which means I get to ask one.
Okay.
The choices are: what is your character thinking about right now? Who are you protecting? Why are you keeping secrets? And what is your character's hidden pain? I want to know. God, these are so good for a character like this.
It's all very, very good.
Yeah, I want to know. Fuck. I think I want to know. I don't think I care about their hidden pain. I'm going to make some hidden pain for them. Yeah, who are you protecting?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with a name real fast. Pierre Carter.
Okay. Pierre Carter.
You just get that and like sort of like this like image of like I want to say because Valentine has been around for a long time.
Sure.
His ability to protect his mind a little, his mind's a little bit more steeled, so it's you almost like see it like I want to image this as like you see it reflected in a pane of glass that is like surrounding the rest of the information. So.
Okay. Pierre Carter. Good enough for me.
And he kind of like takes your hand and he kind of squeezes it a little hard, kind of that like power move thing. And he kind of, everybody, Gallant.
Yes.
Thank you, support system again. Really glad you're here. I personally, on behalf of the city of Juneau, would just like to express our sincerest regrets and sincere apologies to what must have been a terrible decade.
I'm sorry. Did you want me to say a few words or something?
No, I wanted to give a moment in case there was anything you would like to say. No, but I think I do have one other thing I'd like to do real fast. And he kind of turns to Mildred, says, Mildred, if you'd please. And Mildred sort of like whips her hand around, and this sort of like snowfall begins to cover the inside of this ballroom. And everyone that's not at least somewhat aware of what's going on sort of begins to sort of just slump in their seat. So there are a few tables that seem to be still present and awake. Dimitri, you are, of course, still in the loop. You are here. It just seems to be the normies, if you will. Prominent state figures, anybody that's in the mayor's office that isn't Valentine, seems to just be taking a quick nap. He kind of turns back and says, as always, thank you, Mildred. So, for those of you who are aware of the real world that we live in, I say this. Do not fuck with the plan. Quit your squabbling and help us make this our place. I've invited you here because you all have a part to play, and he looks at Gallant, or have played your part. And we all must continue to work for what's best for our Juneau. Now, I do not need questions. You all know what you're supposed to be doing. And you will all leave here amicably and with renewed vigor on your missions. We have dealt with a few unfortunate insurrections and petty squabbles have completed themselves. The solstice is coming soon. Finish it. And he kind of like gives a wave of his hand, and you see the table of vampires, Mildred and her entourage begin to stand, and Valentine sort of just like looks at Mildred, gives another bow, and then turns to you and says, I hope you can keep a secret. If not, well, prison was kind.
I've kept bigger secrets than this for a lot longer than this. What's a few more weeks?
Kind of bows. If you need food, there are to-go boxes. Please take, eat. This dinner is finished, but I have other matters to attend to. was a pleasure meeting you. And support system, keep your nose out of it. And he just sort of like whiskily turns around and walks off.
All right. I'm going to hobble off the stage. I'm going to shoot a glance over to Mildred. I'm like, you make a pretty good lapdog. I commend you.
She sort of like gives you a smirk.
Everyone needs to serve someone. It's good that you found someone to serve.
Well, I'm happy to pay a price for a price paid.
I'm just happy to be part of the club. Helping out.
Right. Oh, I heard you were there when Peter met his unfortunate end. Or fortunate, depending on which side you were on.
He had to die. Not much fortune in it.
It's a shame, really. Had such potential.
Unfortunately, he never found anyone effective to work with. The alliances he made in the end were of convenience.
So it goes. Now, Gallant, if you'll excuse me, I have, as you heard, work to do. She kind of gives a deep bow and kind of like waves to one of the nondescript white men in suits that she keeps with her to call back to season 1, and gestures over to the table with the to-go boxes. Grab a couple.
Dimitri, let's get the hell out of here.
With the boat. And then I'll kind of like gesture to Chadwick with an up nod.
You're a hunter, right?
Yes.
Find some other time to hunt him. This is not the moment.
Alright.
Alright. Let's go. We'll get the hell out of there. No, thank you to whatever that was.
No, thank you, evil.
Yeah, it's a no. It's a no from me.
I didn't think it was going to be a yes, but...
I really wish I had a debt on Kay. I would have summoned them right on the stage and been like, hey, problem, solution. Cut his fucking head off.
Because that would definitely kill an immortal long term.
Well, as long as it temporarily dealt with the problem, Kay could just spend their time cutting through the rest of those miserable sons of...
But yeah, so as you guys are leaving, Dimitri, you guys are sort of making your way out the door, and you kind of feel somebody bump into you from behind.
I will look.
And you like, it's kind of like one of those like you're both not really looking in the direction and sort of plow into each other. Kind of just, you can hear a sorry about that. Frazzle, and it's Chadwick.
Oh.
And he kind of like looks at you, looks around really quickly, and then like slaps a piece of paper into your hand, and it's like, sorry, I gotta go.
Alright. We'll look at the paper.
It says, get this to Red.
Very well. Put it in my pocket. And we will leave.
Okay. Red, you are on your way to...
Lola Bradley.
Yes.
And I'm assuming I know
Bradley.
the address.
You do. We'll even say you're at the front door.
All right, so I'm gonna. Can I get my? No, I'm gonna wait till I get through before I roll any dice. Okay, so I'm gonna give a knock. Yeah, a loud one because I'm assuming she's got her head in a book, like on the phone.
Yep. Yeah. It's a couple of like long seconds before you hear any shuffling from the. Hello.
Hey, it's Red. We all spoke on the phone earlier today.
Who?
Crawford's friend.
Right. Oh, sorry. It's been such a long day. Come in.
All right. So I'm gonna walk through the door and take a look around and start my snooping. Just
Yeah. There are books everywhere.
okay.
And it's sort of just like it's definitely a hoarder situation. And they are not, if you take any second to like look at them, they are not normal books.
Okay. So I rolled an 8 on my snoop, so I think I just get the 1.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on to it until I can think of what I want to ask. But
Okay.
so I'm gonna kind of navigate my way through the labyrinth of tomes, taking a glance, and so I'm seeing magic stuff.
Yeah, it's more of like fringe science stuff, and like it's everything that you wouldn't find in like a normal library because it would be like discredited. So
occult stuff and
yeah, like everything from like Bigfoot sighting books and like you know, aliens, who are they among us, and like lizard folk and like all of that things. It's all just sort of like
Call of Cthulhu 5th edition playbook.
Never read it, but
so okay.
But
so,
yeah, and then you hear a back here.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry, just trying not to knock anything over.
Yeah, and you come face to face with a short, sort of like long, frazzled hair, dark skinned woman who's got kind of like a comfy robe over pretty normal looking clothes, big round glasses on her face. She's got like a book in one hand and a cup of tea in the other, and is just sort of like walking past you. Like, so what'd you need?
First off, I want to know this place shielded or secure, prying eyes, that kind of thing, or is it just
It's taken care of. She kind of like waves the book around a little bit. This is my first, third, or fourth rodeo.
All right. I just wanted to know. Was directed your direction by Agent Crawford because I got some questions that he couldn't answer about some variety of strange things. Like, I guess you don't seem to want to beat around the bush, so you want a list?
That'd be best.
Okay. First one, Revenants. I got one that wasn't too happy with me last time I saw him.
The undead. That's you got yourself in an unfortunate situation there. What'd you do to piss them off? Usually they only come after you if you're like responsible for their death or something, or try to kill them in the afterlife.
You know, oddly, I'm not really sure why. I think I was associating with the person who was partially responsible for their death, but then I went and shot his arm off. So, but that was after. So I think I put myself on the shit list that way.
Huh. Okay. Revenants, undead, spooks. You got any other words for it? Might be useful for research.
I just said revenge zombie is all I knew.
Revenge zombie. Interesting. What else?
How to get a demon out of you.
Okay, possession. Are we talking like
there's the tainted folk in town. One I'm trying to get out of the deal with for a friend.
You might have specific dealings, but and she kind of like gestures at all the books. It's like, I deal in everything. So if you're gonna be nondescript, there's gonna be a larger fee.
You familiar with the families around here? Mostly Demam, Belton.
Oh. No. What?
Really? All this and you don't know what's going on at the door?
I mean, there are plenty of things going on, but so what kind of possession are we talking? I'm talking about like full demon possession, transformations, speaking in tongues.
We're
Let's
talking about
see.
like a pact, I believe. Kind of a family business where this this one guy gets his kids to say yes to the dress, and how to say, how to
Ritual
rescind your
workings.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so deals with devil. Sounds kind of like crossroad demon work, but okay. I think I have enough I can work on. So is that it? So that's revenge zombies and pacts. How did you meet this devil or demon or whatever you want to call it?
A friend
Tainted?
of mine, they're the one who's got the family association with the demons or demon. One of these some kind of smoky critter likes to deal in deals and say, oh, guess they can change your body into something a little more than human.
Interesting. So is that it? So we've got revenge zombies and the tainted. Okay.
Yes. Well, few of the questions I had to ask fell through recently, so those are the two pressing ones. Mostly just how to get one of these revenge zombies off my back. Make sure it doesn't want to get revenge on me anymore, but mostly just trying to get this friend out of their deal. It'd be nice if they could just grow up and live a normal life.
Okay. That's a little bit too much into the backstory for me, but be fine. So
you want details? I'll give you details.
I wanted details on what I was researching, not your life story, honey. So let's set that at, so we've got death zombie coming after you and demon possession. See the way this works, and I don't know if Crawford explained this to you, but how much is your life worth to you? She kind of like folds her knuckles under her hands.
I kind of like to make it into my 60s at least,
Convenient. Same. So there's a couple ways we can play this. There's cash. I like cash. Cash buys new books, puts food on the table, buys new glasses, whatever I need. Helps me get information. Or you can do a little job for me. You seem like the capable sort.
Yeah, there'd be some would argue against that, but is this something I could do in the next couple of days?
Depends on how resourceful you are, really.
I do have that going for me.
Well, so let's run up the cash bill first, since that's one option, and then we can see how lucrative you are cash wise. And so she begins to she pulls out a pad with it like number system on it thing, begins like writing out a receipt. She's like, well, and how quickly do you need this research done? You said next couple of days.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping to be out of here before Christmas, much sooner, but
so rush order.
the
Got it.
solstice,
Of
definitely.
course. Definitely a rush order. I think that's exactly what you're looking for. So let's see. So stopping revenge zombie from killing you.
Yeah, let's just
rush,
put that one on hold for now. Let's
vampire,
focus on the
or no, not vampires. Tainted. Removing demon possession. That'll run you about 25 grand.
So what's
sorry,
this job?
sorry. Rush order. That's another 750. So 32,500.
And what was this job you were mentioning earlier?
See, I knew you were a smart boy when you walked in the door. I knew this was going to be a good relationship we were going to have here. So, if now and this is still quite a price here. So I'm going to get something back. I tend not to lend my books out, but sometimes I do. And usually there's a collection that happens, but sometimes there's people that rent the books and then pass them off. And well, do you know someone named Conrad?
Secondhand, but yeah.
He's got a book of mine. He's late.
Oh, well, conveniently, he's got a quarry of mine, so this may actually be, yeah, this would be beneficial to both of us at the same time.
That seems very what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, so we're gonna be so let's put a deadline on that since you need to be out of town. I really like my book back. Let's say I'm gonna give you 72 hours, and if you don't get the book back by then, because I'll have your research done, I'm gonna double your cash cost.
You know Conrad's address for me to make this little visit.
That seems like I'm doing the legwork for you. You're a resourceful boy. You'll figure it out. And she sort of like sticks out her hand.
So you want me to do a job, but you can't tell me where the job is supposed to be.
You said you know Conrad.
I said I know secondhand. You know, I think I know a contact I could probably get a hold of right now. So yeah, you know what? Handshake.
So you put your hand in the middle and she pulls like this piece of paper and just sort of like wraps it around it a couple of times and it glows. And then it sort of like etches these lines in both your and her hand. And then she kind of like cuts it and then breaks the paper.
Does this leave behind any kind of mark on me?
Yes. There's a line going across the back of your hand now. And it's actually like on the line is 72 hours like written on it.
Oh, neat. Okay. So is it like a countdown, like in time?
Yep.
Excellent.
Because we're getting into the real highfalutin magic shit in this town, so.
All right. Well, we'll focus on the. I'll focus on getting on Conrad right now. Then. Thanks for the tattoo. This goes away forever, right? After I get done the job.
Once you do the job, if not, it's gonna hurt like a bitch. And she just kind of like tucks back down and starts writing some more notes. And she's like humming to herself and like gets up and like grabs another book or two and like sits back down and just sort of like begins to like furiously start scrawling notes.
Okay. So I'm gonna use my snoop and just would it even bear to ask whose turf is this?
I mean, this is her turf, or like, is it
it's
a
just
faction?
Hers. She's not a member of any kind of organization or anything like that. She's just a hermit.
She is one powerful librarian.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really applied to this out of my snooping. So I'm gonna fire off a text to Kay. Yeah, so text to Kay, just going. I don't know what time of day we're at, but probably just as
your meeting was at 5:30 with Lola, so.
Okay.
So yeah, so like 5:45, 5:50 probably.
Okay, so I'm in the attempt to stay transparent with friends. I'm going to text and just send a text message. Where's Conrad live? I gotta retrieve a book from him. No other explanation.
There's a fairly substantial pause in communication, and I will from a while ago, from like session 1, I know a couple of places that Conrad resides.
Mm-hmm.
I will first text back. This seems like a really bad idea. And then I will text the 2 addresses. And then I will follow that up quickly with Conrad's going to be busy tonight. You better do it fast.
All right. And as I look at the text and get in my car, I realize she didn't even tell me what book to look for.
Mm-hmm. You didn't ask.
Oh, I figured after she wouldn't even tell me the dang address, she wasn't going to give me the info on a book. I'm just going to go for all of them. But okay.
You could also probably just look inside the cover for property of Lola Bradley.
Oh, she's the type to sign books. Okay.
The Library of Jürgen Leitner.
Okay, so I'll guess I'll start by making my way towards the first address.
Okay.
I'll do a stakeout before I go in. So whenever we get on that, because it's probably only 6, and yeah.
All right, so it is dark though. Like it's Alaska in the winter. Like it is dark. Don't worry. But
Well, it's a vampire. I worry.
So I think Kay, what have you been up to, and or would you like to pick up getting picked up and heading to your dinner?
I think I was spending the night after Red dropped me off, decoding that journal
Right.
that I got from my father's safe. If I had time, because I did forget, there's also a small journal written in code from Felix's place.
Right.
From the Dumas. I would have given that a once over and see if there's anything I can figure out from that.
Let me see. That is, what faction is Vessel? Does anybody know off the top of their head? Is that Wild?
I feel like it's Wild.
Yeah, I think it is Wild.
It is Wild.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna do something unconventional, considering that for whatever reason, code breaking seems to be a theme now.
Yes.
I'm gonna call it a figure someone out rolling with Wild to decipher it, and then we'll see how you hit intermittent or miss.
Okay. So figure someone out. So instead of adding mind, I just add Wild. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just basically making you do like a Wild decipher roll. So, you know what, Matthew?
I mean, it's kind of like a put a face to a name in a way.
Yeah, it kind of is, but
in a way.
Put a code to a cipher. Just put a cipher to a code.
Put a words to a. Oh no. Okay, well, even with my +3 in Wild, I still got a 5.
You rolled 2 1s.
I rolled a 2 and a 1. No, that's a 6. I lied.
Yeah.
It's a 6 because I can
still
do
a
math.
miss,
It's still a fail. But yeah, because we did establish that this does not mean 6. It means 1.
Yeah. So all right. I think this is sort of just completely lost to you.
I was really just wasting time anyway.
Yeah, I think it's sort of just like it's kind of one of those things where you've already like spent most of the day like deciphering a code, and so like trying to like figure this one out too is just like overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So
and also I'm like the closer it gets to the time that whatever this vehicle is coming to pick me up, the closer it gets, the more nervous I'm getting. Yeah. Very distracted. Okay, well, I will quickly give up on that, and I will get changed into something a bit nicer than my already semi-nice clothing. Consider bringing the sword and then not, because I'm in public. not a civilized person. Okay.
Oh, of course, Dimitri
Oh,
thinks
he's
that.
bringing the sword. Yeah. Nah, nah,
Nah.
I'm not gonna bring the sword. Okay. And then I just wait for the
car to arrive.
inevitable vehicle.
Yeah. So, promptly, like exactly on the dot of 7 o'clock, headlights shine in through the front window, and when you step out, you see a black Cadillac sedan with very tinted windows, and a tall, sort of, I don't want to say stocky, but well-built woman, with like long dark hair, sort of gets out and opens the door for you.
Okay. Kay, by the way, is dressed in an all white suit with a suit jacket and pants matching. And underneath has a fairly low cut top with like this kind of chain neck piece that kind of just hangs down in that open space. And it's
Hot.
It's hot. It's hot. And we'll just, with purpose, hands in pockets to keep them from shaking, enter the vehicle.
Okay. Close the door behind you. Get in, and sort of she looks back and says, "Music."
Nah.
Quiet night it is. And she sort of backs up, begins driving you to what restaurant would Conrad take you to? Since I'm this kind of MC.
Something obnoxious and expensive, because of course he could. And of course that's where I would go anyway.
Yeah.
So probably something on the river or by the lake, by some body of water. Probably kind of like, those hotels that have like that top floor that like rotates, something like equally unnecessary.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like, I think it's like by it's like by the river that sort of like cuts by the island. It's sort of got like a high rise, and the restaurant's like at the top, and I'm gonna call it the Borealis Heights.
Oh, I love it.
So very swanky, very, very high end. Yeah, like jacket check at the door. I don't go to a lot of fancy places, but
but it's real fancy.
But it's real fancy. Everything on the menu is an individual price. There is no appetizer, like sides with the meal. You can get sides for the table. Bottles of wine start at like 200. Just has Kate been here before? Maybe previously.
Probably.
With Conrad?
With Conrad, no. The last time the two of them met was in a completely different state years ago.
Right, yes.
Yep.
That's correct.
But they probably have been here with their family.
Okay.
At least once or twice.
Right, yeah. So I think the staff recognizes you at the door and says, "Okay, pleasure to see you again. If we may take your coat."
Shrug it off.
Thank you. And hand you a ticket. And right this way. Please follow us. And they lead you to your table. And up stands the handsome, tan-skinned, bald-headed combination of two Chris's. Conrad, who sort of like gets up and just goes for the handshake, and then like looks at you. Okay.
It's been a while.
Please have a seat. And he kind of like snaps his fingers, and somebody from that's like sort of like almost like in the shadows sort of like steps out and pulls the chair out for you.
I will have a seat.
Push it back in, and he sits down, unbuttons his coat or his jacket. This is nice.
Yeah.
Are they making you uncomfortable?
No, I'm used to people being.
I can send them away.
It's fine.
Of course. How are you?
I've been better. Things have been a little bit. It's been a lot of quick change in the past couple of months. Well, there's been a lot of change in the past couple of years. I mean, you're here. That's a big change.
That I am. So many interesting things happening in Juneau lately. Didn't want to miss out on all the fun. What have you been getting up to?
Just keeping myself busy, meeting new people.
Always the socialite.
Why?
Don't want to small talk? At least let me buy you a drink first.
Fine.
Do you have a preferred wine or
something red is
something
fine.
strong there? Okay. And kind of just like gives a snap, and a bottle of wine is found quickly and begins to be poured for both of you. Conrad does the whole thing where he like sniffs it and gives the nod to pour the rest of it, and kind of sits there and just. So your question.
Why did you come to Juneau?
I was not lying when I said there are many interesting things happening in Juneau. Plus, I was asked.
You were asked?
Someone reached out, saw a void that I could fill.
Okay. You asked a lot of questions about me, but what have you been up to lately?
Oh, business has been booming. Yeah, it's been good. Juneau is good for the work.
And what work are you up to these days?
Dabble in a few things. Security, procurement, sorts of things.
Okay, well, drink a fairly large mouthful of wine.
Saw some new friends of yours this evening earlier. At the Capitol or the City Hall. An old man, someone who looks out of place.
I suppose this might be an imposing question, but what were you doing at City Hall?
I was invited. I've done some work for Juneau proper, and it always pays to have friends in high places.
Yeah, it sure does. Conrad, why did you invite me here? We haven't spoken in years.
I know, and I figured we should change that.
Why?
Because I won't ignore I've heard the news, and I was
Which news? There's a
I
lot of
mean-
things happening in Juneau, as you've said yourself.
specifically news pertaining to your family, and I am truly sorry for your losses. Xavier III was a good man. Your father, he was talented.
That's a good word for it.
Been around a little while. Had some time to develop the words I like to use for things.
So you just wanted to catch up?
Well, and
Yep.
see how you were doing with everything. And, I had been doing a little bit of work with your brother, and I felt it was right to at least pay my respects.
What kind of work were you getting up to with my brother? He never really told me.
We were doing some development work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, were you? Oh, you were looking for a further explanation. I see.
I certainly was.
Just making sure that properties around Juneau begin to reach their fullest potential. Some things in city proper, some
Some
developments.
cottages out in the middle of the woods.
Yes, that was unfortunate to say the least. We really should have done this sooner.
Yeah, I don't know if we needed to do it at all.
That's entirely justified, but I was just hoping that I might extend to you a similar deal I worked with your brother.
What kind of deal was that?
One of coming prominence and I'll just put it as wealth. Not that you really need such a thing, but
does this have something to do with this whole solstice business I've been hearing so much about?
I mean, of course. And I think we'll cut there for the moment. Galan, Dimitri, what are you getting up to?
In the car, I will show Gallant the letter and say, the Chadwick child passed me this note and said to give it to Red. And I'm already opening it to read it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's it say?
Yeah.
It's not really a letter. It's like a folded, like three
okay.
folded piece of paper. It's It actually, you know what it was? It was a napkin. That's what it
Okay.
was from the table. Like,
So this letter on cardstock with a wax
Yes.
seal. What does it say?
it says, "Dearest, to whom it may concern, please help me. I'm fucked." It does say. It just says. In overhead, I want out.
Oh no, we've seen how this goes.
Yes, we have.
When you play the game of Urban Shadows, you either win or you die.
Die.
there is no middle ground.
And Chadwick ain't winning, guys. To be honest.
No.
He hasn't won at all. Yeah. Max, yes.
Oh, if possible, I believe I would have fired off a text to both Gallant and Dimitri with, could use a hand if you're in.
Both get this about the time you're going over the letter, or the napkin.
What do you think is better? Should we give this napkin to Red, or should we inform Steve you have expressed distrust in him?
How about this? We'll give Red the benefit of the doubt. We won't give him the napkin. But let's see what he needs help with. Spend a little more time with him. Decide if we want to give him the napkin then and there. Afterwards.
Before we answer text, if I am not sure what he is going to ask of us, but we have been very kind since we have come to Juneau, helping out Kay several times. I think perhaps money or favors, if we are doing favors for others, might be prudent going forward.
Yeah, alright. I'll text back to Red, K, but you owe me one. As in, I would like a debt from Red.
You know what? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I will text him or something.
Dimitri.
Same.
Hey, me too.
Hey, me too.
Okay. So I'll text them the address and just with vampires under the address.
Vampire emojis.
I don't know if I'd have a vampire emoji on my flip phone.
Fair. It's just the address and then vamps.
Fuck.
Yep.
So.
Oh, hell.
Okay. Not K, sorry. Okay. Very confusing sometimes. Nice job, Ty.
Oh my god.
I also like how it gave it the gender symbol for whatever reason. Like, that's necessary.
Questionable.
Anyway. Questionable. Anyway, so do you guys all meet up there? Do you guys have some conversation about what just happened where you were on the way?
I guess I'm gonna try to channel my magics again, since I'm getting ready to go in on this.
The new scene.
Yeah.
I would love to see some transition role play of you guys talk about what the heck just happened at the city hall, though.
Absolutely. How was you had a private meeting before your fantastic introduction to community? How did this go?
You know, it was going all right, but then he did this weird thing where he pointed to these paintings, and he said, you know, he said something like, "It's always been this way," and he pointed to the 8th mayor of Juneau that looked a lot like him, which I thought was weird. And then when I asked him about, like, you know, what the hell, like, I forget what I asked him, but I said something like, you know, I think I was basically trying to ask him in a roundabout way how to make, you know, if we could help out, make things right or whatever. And he said, he had this horrible smile on him, and he said, "That's never been me, Gallant. That's never been me." And that right there was when I knew he was no good.
He seems greasy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a politician, but this was especially sinister. So I think he's a big cause behind everything that's going on here. Obviously.
He did not seem like a vampire. Do you have any idea what he... I did not take a close look.
No, but I do know the name of someone he protects, who I imagine is important to him. Person by the name of Pierre Carter.
This does not sound familiar.
No. I don't know what he is. He's older than he looks. And I don't think he relies on brute strength. I don't think he relies on the strength of others and his connections.
Yes, there was the sleep snow in the room.
Yeah, that by that Fay Mildred.
Oh, you know this.
She's been around a while. Huh. You know what, though? Let me think. No, never mind. I'll say, so he wants to be in control. That's what I got from that whole scene. But I don't know if he is.
He seemed awful demanding that people bend the knee.
Yeah, demanding is one thing. People actually bending the knee is another.
Do you have any idea what he wants other than servitude and obedience?
Yeah, he's got plans working. He wants to put a stop to all this chaos. So I think we, unfortunately, did him a mighty big favor whenever we killed Peter. A mighty big favor.
Well, it is better than alternative. Ghost House had to go down.
I don't think we know that yet. Ghost House.
I'd like to think that.
Ghost House is looking pretty good to what I saw in there. All the factions of this town under the power of one man is a frightening prospect. My sense with Peter is he was going to take half of him out, and he only wanted him and his own to rule.
Do you have any plan going forward, or just wait and see what he does?
Well, Mildred's obeying him. That might be fungible. The vampires didn't seem too resistant either. And I don't know what my old buddy Crawford makes of it. So, we need to find out who's on the fence and bring him over to our side. And anyone who's committed, anyone who's a true believer, we either ostracize or eliminate.
All right, this is fair. We are about to go talk to vampires, apparently, so let's see where they fall on these feeds.
Yeah, might not be a bad idea to... We need to figure out what the vampire's up to, and we also need to figure out what this Red is about, because I don't know what he is yet.
I thought he was Hunter, but I don't think so.
Maybe I'll be able to find out. I got an idea.
All right. So you guys meet up. Red, are you doing anything before you head to the address?
No,
Are
I
you going
think
to the
I
one?
got.
Are you going to the one in town or out of town? Which one did you send out?
I want to try the one out of town first.
Okay.
And I'm assuming is this the one that's be closer, like across the bridge to the place where I was taken?
That actually would be the one in town. The one out of town is like out sort of into the woods. I'm going to say south of town a little bit.
Okay, because all good things happen in those woods there. Dang, I want to try the outside the woods one.
Okay.
If this is something important to him, I think he'd keep it out and away from. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And if I probably get there a little ways before them, so I'm gonna try snooping because one of the options is best way in or out.
Okay. Give me a roll. I will describe the scene for you a little bit before we follow through with that. So it is it's kind of like I don't want to say like a cabin. It's like a ranch home sort of set in these like tall leafless cedars. And there's sort of this camp sort of set up around small huts, sheds, quite a few like trucks and vehicles and things. It seems to be some sort of like compound, sort of centered around this large ranch home, sort of centered in the back. Um, it's not entirely walled around, but there's some fencing that sort of like signifies when you're getting in towards this place. And then there does seem to be a certain number, because this is about 7 or 8. There is a small contingency of guards.
Okay. So I got a 5 and a 6 plus my 1 for mine, so it's a 12. So I hold 3.
Okay.
So while I scope the place, I'm just gonna go right ahead and just what's my best way in safely?
Your best way in safely is actually as you're kind of like heading in to like kind of you're following the like GPS, and you see that there's like this road that sort of leads down and around and sort of gets you close to the compound, but there's another outer road sort of like before you get to that turnoff that sort of takes you down almost behind, and you follow that a little bit doing your snooping, and you find yourself sort of pretty close to the back end of this compound with a lot less security and fencing.
What's the lighting like here? Because I'd like to know if I would notice and be trying to drive with my headlights off.
I mean, it's night and close to the dead of winter in Juneau. I mean, it's pretty dark.
Okay.
Half moon, waning, and sort of cloudy. But there's like 2 spotlights that sort of shine towards the front of the compound.
Okay. So I'd be keeping the lights low, trying not to be too noticeable, with being just trying to go by the reflection of what light there is off the snow.
Okay.
And I'll send a text to them round back. And I will wait until they get there.
Okay. So we'll jump back to Kay.
Okay.
So Conrad was just about to make you an offer. Do you have anything in response before that?
Another long sip of wine.
So he kind of like leans in, glass of wine in hand. How much do you know about what's coming? Or what it's at least being prepared for?
Surprisingly little. Had a few distractions. Frankly, I ignored it for a very long time, so
probably the right thing to do until you get dragged into it. So sorry, I got distracted by Ty leaving. The solstice is obviously the centerfold for this. event. But to tell you why, the light has held a place in power too long. There are too many of us that don't do well when the sun is up. And as fortunate as we are in the winter, the summers are too long and too light. So we've begun to prepare to make sure that it's our turn.
You're going, and correct me if I assume incorrectly, to somehow create an everlasting night and not necessarily a metaphorical one?
Kind of just like takes a long sip of wine and just sort of nods. It's the gist.
That seems a bit ridiculous.
You know, I had the same reaction.
What made you change your mind?
Price paid is worth the price to pay.
What price did... What are you talking about? What price did you pay?
No, I'm going to pay a price. My price has been paid. You have to give to get. But really don't feel comfortable discussing the rest of this with you unless you're on board.
Okay. I want to... Oh, God. Okay. I want to spend the debt I have on Conrad. God, I want to just... Yes. God. Oh, God. Okay. I want to spend the debt I have on Conrad to give me a +3 to persuade them, which I must choose before rolling.
Yes.
And I want to kind of lean forward and say, I think we have enough history that you can definitely tell me something else. I'd like to think you still care about me at least a little bit.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Okay. Okay. I have to remember how to do. Okay. Roll with heart. Cool. Well, it's an 8. It's not the worst. Okay.
So on a 7 and 9, they modify the terms or demand a debt.
That's not great.
It's great for me.
Yeah.
This is kind of like
Oh, hello,
Hey,
Swordsfall.
hey, thanks, Swordsfall. Thanks for the
You're
raid.
welcome.
Very kind of you. He kind of takes another sip from the wine, and all right, but don't forget to mark the faction because you used the debt. So,
I did it.
okay, you make your point, but let's chalk it up to I'll tell you now, and you can owe me a favor later.
Okay.
So, how do I want to put this? Well, is there anything you would like to know specifically? Just or is there? Would you just like some general information? Something gnawing at you you'd like to know a little more about, or?
Surprise me.
So, it might or might not surprise you, but this has not been a recent undertaking. This has been etched into the city since its founding.
Okay.
And are you hungry?
Not. I'm sure.
Me either. Do you want to get out of here?
Yeah.
He kind of stands up and buttons his jacket and puts his hand out. I have a little place in the city. It's quieter.
I will take his hand.
All right.
Y'all picked a good house.
Fade to black on that scene. Unless there's any talking you want to do before anything gets up. So if that's your plan.
I don't. I think the only thing I would mention, I guess, as we're walking out, almost like an afterthought, would be to say, it is nice to see you.
I'm glad we got the chance to reconnect.
And that's it.
Okay. So, compound boys. What are you guys getting up to?
Well, I'm gonna wait till I see them probably pull up behind me. Hopefully, pull up behind me if they figured out what around the back meant.
Yes, we will do that.
So I'll be out of the car with binoculars, just kind of looking around, seeing if I can spot. Well, obviously, you'd be able to tell me right off if I noticed any lights on inside the house. Not that it would matter.
the compound seems relatively dark. It seems like, besides the contingency of like guards, it seems like there's not a lot of people here right now.
Okay. And what kind of guards? Is it just like outside perimeter or?
From what you can see, outside perimeter.
Okay.
There's a few people walking the perimeter. There was a couple of people at the gate that you could see when you were doing your snooping, and then there might be some more people inside. You haven't noticed any.
If we can get up to Red, I guess I'd ask, where are we? What the hell is this? And why are we here?
You familiar with a vampire named Conrad?
In passing.
Yeah, this guy's holding on to an item I've got to procure in exchange for information on how I could possibly help a mutual friend of ours with a little demon issue.
Oh, so you're breaking into his place rather than just asking for it?
Well, I kind of blew up his wizard a few weeks back, so I don't think he likes me very much.
I forgot.
Oh, you mean we could ask?
These people are on the opposite side of the interests. And I don't really feel like asking. I got to get this done. I hold up my hand, kind of shine the light from my phone on it. I got a spell on me that means I got a time limit on this.
It's been 3 hours, so it technically says 69. So
there it is.
Nice,
Hell
right?
yeah.
Nice.
That's how the time worked out. Okay, I didn't do it on purpose.
I look down.
You are the.
I look
you
down
won
at
the game.
I look down at the arcane contract, and I'm just like, I just smirk. I'm like, wow, you really did enter into one of those, huh?
Got a book retrieval was that, or pay a lot of money I don't have, and my funds are running dry. This will get me the information, and until I can figure out how to get that young vampire whelp on a plane back out of here, I got nothing better to do than try and help Kay.
It's all right. You just end up looking like me if you fall through on it.
I'm kind of feeling like you look. Roll my shoulder, which still hurts.
Yeah, those scars will build up.
It's never a nice comment. I feel how you look. That's never.
Gallant's not phased.
Gallant walked up limping, and it just gave me a warning. And so, but I mean, I kind of thought where Dimitri was on the side of burning a car in broad daylight, he might be interested in breaking into a compound. And Gallant, you're powerful, and could really use a little bit of that if you're up for it.
I mean, I'm not much for espionage, but sure, I'll give it a try.
You leave that one to me. I can stake things out really good. I can find things that people don't want to find, but when it comes to a fight, it's not really my deal.
Oh, no, hell.
I will be here if things go bad, but let's hope we can find a book and leave.
Yeah.
Your spell prep stuff, what's that called? Holding?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you roll?
I will channel it now. I feel like this
Channel,
scene is
yeah.
more appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay. Partial success.
Better than...
Yeah. I will hold 3. So I've got quite a bit of hold now. I'll be good for a while. But I have to choose one. I have to take -1 ongoing until I rest, suffer 1 harm, armor penetrating, or mark corruption.
Oh.
I really don't want to take -1.
Just take the corruption. It's your brand.
Yeah, I'm taking the corruption.
It's getting close.
I'm fine. It's fine.
Sun's getting low.
The sun's getting real low, big guy.
It's fine. So I go a little dark willow there for a second as I grip my staff and my veins go dark and my eyes go black.
That looks familiar.
Yeah,
You all right?
I'll be fine. Let's go.
All right. So, if I could, moving forward with the snoop of the best way in, am I able to
Yes.
use that to avoid detection, or we still gonna have to?
Definitely.
Okay.
Because There's no like sneak in. It's really all about getting out. That's mechanically a thing. So.
Gosh, that's not what I wanted to hear.
Hey, at least you know -1 I'm going to escape because you care about me.
Y'all, I love
And there it
Urban Shadows.
You're welcome for my love. It's a toxic love. I'm gonna spend 2 hold to give us all +1 armor. Fuck it.
Okay.
Nice.
For this whole fucking endeavor.
Okay. So yeah, I think you can use your hold. It'll let you find the best way in. There's a pretty significant gap, and it's in the middle of the woods. It's clear that the security guys have like taken a little bit of a break, and there's just an open.
And
yeah.
so moving into the back door there, I'm just gonna try and guide with the light of my phone to try and keep things dark without getting spotted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you find your way to the house.
Okay. Yeah. So, gonna try the door. I'm assuming it's locked, but with the people patrolling, I'm assuming they'd be able to go in and out as they pleased.
It is locked. There are things called keys.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to leave doors unlocked for people to get in and out. So.
Don't look at me. Don't think I can just wave my hands and unlock this thing. Don't do it. Don't you look at me.
I glance.
I just look at him.
Hey, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not, but I'm gonna fiddle around, pull out a lockpick kit.
Yeah. Mind if I hold your phone while you do that there?
Yeah, please. It's
Yeah, no problem. And whenever I, brush his hand,
I saw that coming.
I'm gonna go ahead and skim the
It's so good to have
surface.
this back.
Yeah,
It's so good to have this back.
So
Giving me
good.
some, giving me some
For the-
trauma flashbacks, but it's
We
fine.
razzed on how
those-
sketchy Brody was with this.
For those that are joining us and are unfamiliar with the system, what Galan is doing is a move from the Oracle playbook called, I think it's called Skimming the
Skim the
Surface.
surface, yeah.
Yeah, which is basically when you catch contact, you get to read their surface thoughts, and it's super sleazy sometimes.
So I got a 13, so I get to pick
Okay.
3. I would like to know well, yeah, sure. Who are you protecting? Why are you keeping secrets? And what is your character's hidden pain?
Well, I'm protecting Kay.
Okay.
What was the next one?
It's okay. Why are you keeping secrets?
I'm keeping secrets from this group because you're hunters, and I've got a demon in me that I don't want there.
And what is your character's hidden pain?
My hidden pain is well, I don't know if it'd be hidden, but hidden from you guys. That I regret that I am here and not home with my husband.
Perfection.
I feel extreme guilt.
So time slows down, and then I grab the cell phone from him, and we'll hold the light up for him.
All right. So I'm gonna jimmy in and just fiddle around and see if I feel like it's one of the pin locks.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy system. It's not like super high security for this back door, so.
Okay, so I'll feel in, I'll pop the very first pin, put a little torsion on it so that it continues to hold its place, and then as I pull the rake through, pop, pop, feel, pop, and then when I get to the front, do I have to roll for this, or are you gonna assume I know what I'm doing?
You know what you're doing.
Okay.
There's no rule to break in. It's all about escaping and getting away and fighting.
Okay.
There's no anything that's not like a specific mechanic that you need, it's fine.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pop that lock there.
Okay. You're in.
All right, so
Imagine you're gonna do a couple more stooping things.
yeah, I got 2, and okay. what happened here recently? And I'm mostly asking as far as patrols go. Anyone been in the room recently?
There is a still warm pot of coffee in the kitchen, and there is the embers of a fire in the fireplace. So
Okay.
it's not like the pot was just made. It's still warm, but it's not like. So it's been a little bit since somebody's been inside.
Okay, it feels really like I feel like I already know the answer to this. What here is the greatest danger to me? Is it Gallant?
No, I guess that's a matter of opinion. But yeah, I would say the vampires surrounding the complex.
Okay, so that does answer that they are vampires, which helps.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if he just had like ghouls or anything like that going for him.
Yeah. Specifically, these might even be flesh vampires.
No, God.
Of course they are.
Thank God for armor.
Oh god, one of my corruption moves does not work because you're both immortality. Okay. So yeah, moving in. I'm looking for anything that looks like a study. Keeping my ear out to just in case there's anyone patrolling around the house or sitting there waiting.
Okay. Yeah. I think you find the study after a little bit. It's not like a huge house. It's nice. It's really nice. It's obviously like well kept. But yeah. So it doesn't seem like anything's like too off at the moment. Yeah, you guys you find your way back into an office.
So, Gallant, you able to detect anything around here that might not be what it seems?
Actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to let it out.
Okay.
I'm going to try to use my fucking sense the force. Since I'm a wizard.
All right. So, roll with spirit.
Because I forgot that there actually is a supernatural catch-all.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
really nice.
Fuck, it's real not good, y'all. Oh, like, let's go. 8, okay.
All right. On a hit, choose one and mark corruption.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, alright.
Gallant, we hardly knew you.
2 points.
How's it going?
Points.
Why am I a wizard? Okay, what was the choose? What do I choose?
You choose take one forward on your next roll, extend your senses supernatural or otherwise, frighten, intimidate, or impress your opposition, take definite hold of something vulnerable or exposed.
I fucking love this game. I will extend my senses supernaturally. I'm like, basically,
Okay.
like, I'm picturing the book, using all the information I'm assuming he's feeding me, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
just, where's the book?
Yeah, I mean, you get a couple of, like, blips, so to speak. Like, I mean, this is a place of, like, this is basically a place of power. I mean, there's a lot of,
Ooh.
like, channeled stuff here, yes. It obviously has some sort of built-in protections, but, yes, magic items. There are a couple of books that sort of give off, and I'm thinking the way that I'm, like, sort of going to flavor this is it's not necessarily that they've been touched by anything, but that they hold information that is actually true.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, and not just, like, true in the sense of, like, knowledge true, but, like, true is, like truth.
Yeah,
Like,
right. My true
absolute
name
truth.
yes, like my true
Yes.
name ability. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So,
That works even
and
better.
sort of centered in the middle is this one that sort of, like, is both glowing in that sort of, like, truth, and there, like, is also sort of, like, blipping, and this is what you need.
So extending this metaphor of what truth looks like to Gallant is a pale horse, and I think I hear these kind of, and I see this flash of like a pale horse face that's kind of rotting and decaying over the object,
Sweet.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's there. Oh, I can't hear you, Red.
I gotta walk over and I'll pop out my phone and just try and use the light to see any signature on it.
I mean, it's the spine. I think. What kind of book would this be? This is something. I'm gonna call it Darkness Beckons to sort of titularly bring this back to the series, and it is by an assortment of authors, and so it just says by collection. So
I'm gonna assume anything else here you want to grab while we're in the middle of doing a crime.
God, that's actually an excellent question. I think I do. I just don't know what it would be. I just want, you know what? I just want like anything that looks like relatively worn and used in this. Like, you know, something that Conrad has obviously touched a lot. Like, I don't care if it's a paperweight. Like a really good, well-worn pen. Just like anything.
I was gonna say a pen. I was like,
perfect.
Yeah.
Nice, like wooden pen with a thick base, and I scoop it up.
Okay. Ready, reach for the book.
I'm not allowed to, now that we're inside, I'm not allowed to roll Snoop again because it's too late, right?
Same scene, so.
Okay. I'm just gonna take 1 second here and...
Book is cursed, y'all.
It's not cursed.
It's trapped. I look for traps.
There's no skill for that.
I roll investigate.
The DC's too high.
You know, here we go. This is something Red would do. Red would just would reach for it, put his hand on it.
As you touch the book, you feel your hand sort of like not stick in place, but just sort of like pulse. And this, you feel this like knowledge begin to like sort of like etch into your hand, and then klaxons start blaring, and that's where we're gonna end it for the week.
Oh fuck! What klaxon?
Like klaxon sirens, like
oh, is that what?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that was what they were called.
Yep.
Y'all.
Just I'll ask it and we'll see if it can happen at the beginning of the next session.
What's that?
I have a magical talisman that can nullify a single spell that I got from much earlier on, before going into the final battle of season 1.
I think if you want to use that here, it will stop the sort of like beginning of the spread of the knowledge, but it's a mechanical trap that was the blaring. So
of course it was.
The blaring's already started, so I'm not going to bother. We'll just accept it.
Sweet.
Wow.
Thanks everyone for joining us. If you guys want to go around who you are, where we can find you, what you're getting up to, what you're looking forward to with the holiday, and then, or if that's time off, going to the gym, that kind of thing too, and then favorite moment from tonight. So
I'll go first.
You want to go first? I'll let you go first.
I do.
Do it.
Hello, I'm Maria. You can find me at Happy Capster on Twitter, where I do a lot of things. You can also find me at Society Goblins on Twitter, where we post a lot of D&D 5e magic items and stuff. It's been a week, so there hasn't been a whole lot posted, but that should change come after the holiday season. Speaking of holiday season, I get to go home and see my family, and I'm really excited. I'm gonna spend time with them. It's really cool.
So.
My favorite moment was that town hall meeting of the mines, because I was just sitting here panicking, and I wasn't even there. Yo, there was too many powerful people in one place, and I don't like it. I don't like any of it. It's not great, but also Lola. Lola's amazing.
Good.
Hi, I'm Max. I can be found at AmaxD20 on Twitter. I don't have anything at the moment going on, but there's a lot of things in the woodworks coming out eventually. My favorite part of the night is just I just like the suspicion that Gallant and Dimitri have for Red. It's like last season I just kind of kept my head down, but now it's like Red's sketchy. Everyone's Red's sketchy.
I loved that you were like, I just want to get this kid out of town and go, and then they're holding a piece of paper that says "Help me get out of town," and they're just like, "Man, that sucks. That really sucks that you're in this situation." Yeah,
and I don't know if even reading my mind changed any of that, in at least Gallant's opinion.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. Who next?
I can go. I'm Ty. You can find me here. I'm Brawler on Twitter. I don't have anything specific coming up other than this. I've got a lot of friends in town for the holidays, so I'm playing games in person, which is
Woo!
always fun.
Games in person are the best.
My favorite moment from the evening. I think I'm trying to think back. I think this is the first physical intimacy moment we've had in this whole game.
2 seasons.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Correct.
A lot of emotional ones, never any physical. That was a nice change of pace.
Was it though? I'm just so nervous about it now.
And that's it for me.
Sweet. And Matthew.
Hey, that's me. I am Matthew Foreman, folks. I am at Matthew W. Foreman on Twitter. I am thankful for the holidays because I will have a nice week where I get to go to the gym and take care of myself the whole week and do whatever the hell I want. So that's going to be great. And just as a reminder to folks, the next 2 Wednesdays, there is no Ghost in the Machine because of the holidays, Christmas and New Year. So we'll be back the second week, Wednesday in January. And as far as I know, no interruptions on Big Boy season for the next few weeks, so we're good. My favorite moment, I think that I love that Red is like really getting in the thick of it. I always got to do 2 things. That's how my mind works. I love Red getting in the thick of it and like snooping constantly. And I also, any scene where Kay speaks is the best moment. Like, it's just so, like, the fucking Conrad VK, I'm like, they are either going to fuck or they will stand up and cut his fucking head off. Right there.
Both could happen.
Yeah.
It was basically like that, like,
listen, there hasn't
basically where it's like you're the worst.
Listen. We haven't gotten back to the house yet.
That's true. T.
I can summon K.
I can GTFO whenever I want to. I got people's names. I can get wherever I want out of here.
Love it.
So
We're
good.
not.
So
Love
good.
it. So good.
Y'all are amazing. That's all.
You are too, buddy.
But also you.
So I am Taryn. That is a fact. I'm Tarzan Nosy on Twitter. I have this, and then there's no Project VHS this week because we have holidays and our GM is out of town. Is it though? Is that a fact? Yes, it is, Emma. So not the following week, but the week after that, Marie and myself are in a game of Mothership, being run by Kyle, but being joined by Dan Gaston, Gaston, and then Jahus the Moose. Then my favorite moment for tonight, all of it, all the time, always. Y'all are amazing players. That'd be good for rating. Favorite moments really tonight though. Obviously the Valentine moment was great. I love giving to Evil Monologue, and then framing the moments for you guys to explore the scene. So yeah, you guys do amazing things with this setting and world. So,
but you also made this cool setting and world that we get to play in. Yeah. And it's so good.
Y'all are too great. But seriously, thank you everyone for joining us here on VR. I'm wearing the shirt today. If you like what we do here, please don't forget to follow, subscribe, to support us, and then Patreon, and follow us on Twitter so you can keep up with all the cool things that are going on here at Variant Rolls. Please don't forget our friends at Dice Priori, and trans rights are human rights. So
Damn right.
Love you all, and please join us next week. So same time, same place. Do we want